It's not a fallacy, it works, man, it's valid. Your argument can be so good that even if it is completely based on logical fallacies, you're still right, in my opinion.
What? So, at the end of last year, I launched my first indie game on Steam called Fallacy Quiz. And recently, Northernlion, a big streamer and YouTuber, actually made a video playing the game. It was a bit out of nowhere because I did not contact him or anything. I want to react to this to maybe give some insights. Yeah, let's get into it.
There's no reason that the music in Fallacy Quiz has to go this hard. Just listen to this.
Okay, so that's how it starts. I'm really glad people like the music in Fallacy Quiz. My friend made it, and recently they actually released the soundtrack on YouTube.
Anyway, we're playing Fallacy Quiz. What's Fallacy Quiz? I think it's like a kind of a trivia game that teaches you logical fallacies. I thought it was like a smart idea for me to play this because I get accused of using fallacies from time to time just because I'm so good at winning arguments. I said that like I use straw men from time to time, but it's not a fallacy, it's a rhetorical technique. And people were like, I don't know if you could just say that. Well, let's learn something. Each game for 3 rounds of 5 questions, you have to identify whether or not the presented statement is fallacious. Okay, we'll start on easy mode because it's all I can do. Ready? I'm ready. If we let them build this skate park, our neighborhood will change. Let's lay down the pros and cons and decide if we should be opposed to it or not. That's valid, man. You're valid for that, for sure.
Okay.
Extremely valid statement. Nothing wrong with that.
Good start. It's a good start.
Whether I'm good looking or not, it's not impossible for me to find a partner. That's valid, man. It's not impossible. There's lots of busted people out there. There's someone for everybody. You may think climate change is a real problem for humankind, but I'm not sure that's important. That's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Okay.
That's valid, but I disagree with you. Never mind.
He thought it was valid at first.
I thought that, how is it, whoa. How is it invalid for them to say they don't care about climate change? I'm not saying it's like a good opinion. It passed the Greek rhetoric check in my head.
The thing is, it's more subtle than that in the question. You may think climate change is a real problem for humankind, but I'm not sure it's that important. So one's opinion is it's a real problem for humankind. The other's opinion is it's not that important. The thing is, it's technically a real problem for humankind. You cannot really say it's not. So by using the phrase, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, they're saying we don't have to take side, you know? The thing is, if you say that like climate change is not a problem for humankind, it's not on the same ground as if you're saying it's a problem for humankind. So you cannot really use that relativism here.
It said why on the screen? I wasn't reading all that. People who think we should...
You can technically click on see the definition of the fallacy to know more.
Arguments on the subject. I can give you some if you want. Okay, valid.
Okay.
That's called the appeal to please don't ask me to elaborate because then I've got to go get some sources. Ordered twice, and twice I've received a damaged package. I'm never ordering anything again. So this is pissing me off. They gave me an achievement for being a cheater because I paused the countdown while the game was running. This...
I love this. When you pause the game for the first time during a countdown, I say you're a cheater using the achievement system from Steam.
Seems valid to me. This is valid, man. They're not saying every package I order is gonna be damaged. They're just saying, fool me once, fucking shame on you, fool me twice, won't get fooled again. This is valid. Fuck you.
That's interesting because yeah, the phrase is not I received a damaged package twice, so all packages will be damaged. The phrase is I received a damaged package twice, so I'm not going to order online anymore. I think this sentence could be improved by explicitly telling the opinion that they think all packages will be damaged. and that's why they choose to not order anymore.
What do you mean hasty generalization? Consume. Even though we sent you a damaged box 2 times in a row, keep buying that shit. What are you talking about, man? Hasty generalization. You can use a mechanical pencil, but they're distinct tools. This is like a who asked, but it's valid.
Yeah, it's who asked, because this sentence is included in the game to mislead you, because there's a really similar sentence that is not valid. So I do that often in the game to try to make it a bit more tricky. So there's a sentence that is really similar, but that is fallacious. The thing is, it makes sense for the fallacious statement to be that complicated, but when you make a valid statement out of it, it's like, why are you telling me all of this?
It's true, Kant did say that. The question is whether it's still valid today. That's begging the question. But it had question in the sentence. How could that not be begging the question?
It's funny because there are a lot of common used fallacies, begging the question and ad hominem, and I did not use those phrasing. Begging the question in the game is called circular reasoning, and I did not put ad hominem in the game. I split it into different category of personal attacks. I did this because I think they are a bit misused generally. Here, for instance, there was question in the sentence and they jumped to begging the question when begging the question is not that at all. Go back.
That's denying the antecedent, bro. I'm gonna be insufferable after I platinum this game.
I love how when he sees the answer, he just repeats it as if he knew exactly.
But your no work is in terrible condition. I won't waste my time looking at each page. You'll get a bad grade. Fallacious. Appeal to the fallacy of division. Teach. That's the fallacy of division.
Okay. Okay. In the game, you have some tips to deal with people using the fallacies, and only 2 times I give the advice to actually say the name of the fallacy. Most of the time, I don't think you should say the name of the fallacy like that.
Okay, how do we do for a baseline? I thought it was pretty good. Best score, new best.
The game really favors having a combo. So if you have one wrong answer in the middle of the game, you will have a really, really bad score compared to not having a wrong answer, or having a wrong answer at the beginning or at the end of the game. It makes no sense, but I keep that from Link's crossbow training. I don't know if you ever played that game. In the game Link's crossbow training, you have to fire targets. I remember being really involved in the game, like passionate about the game. If you miss one, it destroys your score. So you're really, really passionate during the game and really try to not miss any.
This is on easy mode. Try me again.
Okay, next
can't,
try.
They won't let me do expert mode until I perfect easy, man.
I think I'm going to change that for the next update for the multiplayer mode. Some people reached to me about that and said, we wanted to just have a multiplayer game and we cannot have a custom game by default in the game. You have to complete 5,000 points in easy mode in single player. That's bad, I think, and I'm going to change that for the next update, because that means that if you buy the game for the multiplayer mode and then you just start the game, you cannot unlock anything by playing multiplayer, and that's pretty bad.
I've never put diced tomatoes in guacamole before, but we can try. That's not even an argument. That's literally just a sentence. I don't understand how that could possibly be fallacious to begin with. That's just a nothing burger.
Okay, so my friend, we have an argument about guacamole. They think you shouldn't have anything else than avocado and stuff like that. And my point is, if you want to put some diced tomatoes, it's not a big deal. It's fine. It's still guacamole. They think it's like a really bad thing and it shouldn't be called guacamole. So I decided to add this statement in my game and they hate me for that.
Working out with only your body weight is better than working out with machines or accessories because it's less artificial. Things people actually believe, but this is an appeal to nature. Oh,
good.
I'm learning too much already.
Good. The question is not, is it true or not? Because maybe it's better than using machines. The thing is, the argument was because it's less artificial. And that's why there's a fallacy, because they are using an appeal to nature.
Me not voting in this election is equivalent to letting all others decide in my place. That's valid. The perfect score is incoming. I'm so ready for Mario Party later after this. You're selling this for $10, but I wasn't willing to buy it at all. Let's split the difference. How about $5? That just doesn't make sense to me.
This one was changed because of some feedback I got during the beta stage of the game. This sentence was, you're selling this for $10. I want to buy it for $6. Let's do $8. You know, that was the sentence. And people said, wait, it's just negotiation. It's not really a fallacy. Yeah, so it was a bit confusing. Here, I made it really clear that it was a fallacy because they say that they are not willing to buy it at all. So then why are you negotiating if you don't want to buy it? So now it's really clear that they are just trying to bullshit the seller.
Whoa, you've just unlocked expert mode. You'll be asked to choose the name of the rhetorical fallacy from 4 options. Okay, expert mode. Our burgers are higher in calories, but the vegetable portion is much larger. That's a red herring.
Yes. Nice.
For some reason. I don't really know why, but that's a red herring.
He keeps saying, I don't know why, I don't know what it means. He never clicked on see the definition. There's a big button you can click to see the definition if you don't understand.
We've been doing it this way for 2 generations. Perhaps it's time to mix things up. That's affirming the consequent. No, that's valid? What the hell? I can't check the definition on validity? The stop sign has been there since the road. Okay.
Okay, now he wanted to check the definition, but it's just valid. Why would you want to check the definition? Oh, maybe... Oh, that's a good idea now that I think about it. Maybe you want to check the definition for your wrong answer to know why this wrong answer is not correct. Okay, that might be good.
I was writing down a crucial piece of information when I heard a noise. To me, that sounds like misleading vividness, man.
Okay, that's funny because misleading vividness, you need to have a long story. They don't know how to react to having a wall of text like that. But in the calculation of the time you have to answer, I take into account the reading speed and the length of the question. So in theory, it shouldn't be that bad for you to have to read that wall of text.
Because it was so wordly that it was trying to mislead me. For 3 days. So we should prepare a picnic for tomorrow. That's the hot hand fallacy. Hey, it's crazy. No wonder gambling addiction is such a scourge, man. So there's hot hand fallacy. I've been winning so much, I'm definitely going to win next time. But then there's also gambler's fallacy. It's been so long since I've won that I'm due. That's crazy.
Yeah. Our brain is really bad about this.
Person never worked with their hands in their life, so I'm not sure why we should listen to them about how we could improve our working conditions. That's a biased generalization. That's a genetic fallacy, to be honest with you. Let's see, this one's a genetic fallacy. I gotta go to my desk real quick. I gotta load up the style guide. Genetic fallacy. In the face of theories, arguments, or facts, this one is about criticizing the origins or intentions of their sources rather than their substance. Your interlocutor will, for example, reject the study because it comes from a particular institute without demonstrating in any way that the study itself is invalid. Yeah, but what if the institute has a history of being stupid or presenting conclusions that disagree with my worldview?
Then you're making a genetic fallacy.
That doesn't make any sense to me. In this case, ask them to ignore the source and comment on the substance. If they do not want to accuse them, this shit is the playbook, man. Holy cow. Ask them to ignore the source and comment on the substance. If they do not want to, accuse them of finding excuses and running from debate. Holy cow, man. That's the genetic fallacy. That's a powerful one, man.
In the case of Northernlion, I'm not sure that he's learning how to spot fallacy. I think he's actually learning how to use new fallacies.
Americans agree with the conclusions of our documentary. I mean, that seems like...
I got feedback from this sentence, and I added bold text to our viewers and bold text to Americans to really show where the fallacy is. And even with that, there are some people who have issues with it.
As a generalization? They said according to our survey, man. Their viewers? Maybe everybody's watching that shit. Maybe it's like the White Lotus season 3. I don't know.
If all Americans are viewers of the channel, he's right.
You're saying we shouldn't have fun at all. Valid. It's too late. That's a straw man. They never said that. I'm an expert at those. At a party, most people get less sleep than what's recommended. You could stay a bit longer with us tonight. That's an appeal to common practice, bro.
Good.
Because they said most people.
I think this sentence was a bit strange. The wording is a bit strange. No one will ever say that. Most people get less sleep than what's recommended. You could stay a bit longer with us tonight. No one's going to say that to you. So I think we could change that. Hey, going to sleep already? You know that most people don't sleep that much. Just stay with us until midnight or something. You know? That will be way more normal.
He broke my pen. It would only be fair to break his. That's two wrongs make a right, but it is also valid.
What?
Some fallacious statements can also be valid.
What? Okay, they try again. What was the score? Okay,
Anyway, I'm gonna try
pretty
again.
bad score for the expert mode.
You say that protesters shouldn't damage schools. That's real cool for all the other buildings. Thanks. I think it must be middle ground. That's a great comment, though. That's so like 2019 Twitter. Oh.
I think they just like fallacious statement like.
Oh man, that is great, man. You're so pretty. I'm sure you'll help me carry this thing. That's the appeal to flattery, but that works. That would work on me. 100%. That's a false equivalency. What? That's false equivalency. You're equating pain and gain. I could draw the algebraic expression for it. You cross out the nose on the opposite sides of the equal sign, and then all you've got is pain equals gain. That's a false equivalency.
It's not a false equivalency. They're not saying pain is like gain because in the two word there's AIN. Or maybe it's implied, but it's not the argument.
Drawing the exception. This one consists of taking a general rule or statistic and applying it systematically. You will often hear people say everyone instead of most people. Within an argument, this can lead to major errors. Providing counterexamples and exceptions will help you question this hasty generalization. Okay, so I should have been like, actually, there's situations where people have gained without pain.
Yeah.
Like gaining weight on vacation. While turning down the... You're saying people can be smart without having gone to school? So basically you're saying that people will always succeed even without ever going to school? That's a straw man argument.
Yeah. Okay.
And
cool.
you sound annoying as fuck, just to be honest with you.
Fair.
This NGO does really useful work for society. Their director must be a good person. That's a fallacy of division, because
Nice.
the fucking whole isn't the sum of its parts or whatever.
Yeah.
This consists in claiming that a part of something possesses a property just because the whole thing does. For example, this metal airplane flies, so metal can fly. But metal can fly. You just have to mold it into the shape of an airplane. Am I stupid or too smart for this game? I can't figure it out. Metal can fly. You just turn it into an airplane.
I mean, metal can fly like it's a property, Maybe I should change this to say metal cannot inherently fly. So now we are adding a new word that people will not understand. This metal airplane flies, so metal can inherently fly. We'll see. Maybe I'll add that.
They cannot just assert it. They're destroying the exception by saying that all metal can't fly, man. So what about airplanes? You're running from debate.
Okay, they got me here.
Look, they have a full building with a lobby and a receptionist like a big successful company. They must be a serious business. The business is a fallacy of division because the business is not necessarily, it doesn't maintain the same. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. It's 9 p.m. It's time to go to bed. Why? Well, because 9 p.m. is bedtime. That's circular reasoning.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Cool.
Okay, now a lot of people are saying, that's my parents, that's my parents. I'm here to tell you, the one thing that you think, because I went through this twice, once when I had a kid and once when I started teaching kids in South Korea. Okay. You start with high-minded, noble ideals, where you're like, my parents would sometimes say, because I said so, when they wanted me to do something, and it would really piss me off. So what I'm gonna do instead is just calmly and logically explain to any children in my life the incentives for doing the behavior that I want them to do, and I'm gonna use rhetoric to get us both on the same page, and then they'll agree with me, and my case will be so convincing that they'll just naturally want to do what I'm telling them to do in the first place. It's
I'm a bit scared of the next sentence.
Simply does not work like that, and you're stupid if you think it does. I use because I said so all the time. Because if you don't, you just get mired in this like debate that just goes around and around and around. You start by explaining.
What I hear is that Northernlion cannot win a debate with a child. That's what I'm hearing right now.
It's bedtime. Why? Because this is the night we always go to bed. Okay, that's circular reasoning. Okay, because you need to go to sleep now so that you can wake up in the morning. That's destroying the exception. There's times where I haven't gotten a whole lot of sleep and I've woken up and still felt great. Well, because I said so. Because I never played this game before. I had these arguments, you know. So sometimes you just gotta be like, no, we're doing this. We're going to bed. I was munching on some roasted salted almonds, then I popped one into my mouth that had this weird, horrible, bitter taste that made me want to spit it out. It was gross. That's why almonds are the worst nuts. That's valid. That's valid, man. That's a true statement. I mean, I shouldn't say it's a true statement because I like almonds, but if someone was like, I might literally say in response to that message, that's valid. That's valid. It's a generalization. No, it's not. They implied that because every once in a while you get a bad almond, almonds are the worst nuts to eat. I think that's valid.
They're making a point. You could say that almonds are bad because once in a while you have a bad one. So I might rephrase that a bit.
Sure, the next almond could be the best almond they've ever had, but if there was like a 10% chance of every almond, if you rolled a D10, and it was like a 1 in 10 chance that it was going to taste like vomit, I would be like, I don't want to eat almonds. Almonds are my least favorite nut to eat.
They got a point.
They didn't make a claim. They just told the story. That's why I'm saying it's valid, because if I'm telling someone a story and they hit me with my story having a logical fallacy, I'm like, guess who's not getting another story, dude? Like, they weren't making a statement, or they weren't trying to make a case. They were just trying to get someone to empathize with them. They were just making conversation. More people prefer apples to oranges, so apples are better than oranges. That's an appeal to popular belief. I love it when they name the fallacy what it is, instead of some shit like destroying the exception.
Okay, destroying the exception technically is naming exactly what it is. You have an exception to a rule, and you just say the rule as if it had no exception. So you are destroying the exception.
We got a perfect in us, man.
Okay, can I say something? The fact that he can just enjoy the game and all my work and effort to make the game paid off, like the game is working. Like, we are not talking about is the game having technical issues at all. Like, the game is working and we can talk about the content of the game. I'm really glad about that because it was hard to make a polished game, and so that we don't have to care about maybe the menus are hard to go through or the settings are hard to understand or stuff like that. He never had to talk about any of that. Like, we don't care about the technical part of the game, and I'm really glad I was able to achieve that. It's not a given. You have to spend a lot of time to make the game just work as expected for a normal player, you know? So yeah, I'm really, really happy about that.
They sent reports about bugs in the game, but they are neither beta testers nor quality assurance testers, so I don't care. That's the genetic fallacy. You're ascribing validity of an argument based on its source rather than based on the quality of its argument.
Oh, they learn.
You were attempting to run from debate and discussion. These glasses were offered for an extra $1 on top of your other glasses, so they must be really bad quality. Don't put them on. That's jumping to conclusions. Okay, I know that it was about money and there was an appeal to money option in there, but that's jumping to conclusions, isn't it? You see one piece of data that says, like, these might be bad, and you jump to conclusions.
Yeah, I think they're right about that. I shouldn't let the jumping to conclusion option available if the answer is an appeal to money, because an appeal to money could be jumping to conclusion. Yeah.
We often confuse the price of a product or service with its quality. Some people exploit this mistake to make it seem like a product or service is of a higher quality just based on its price. That's real, though.
Is it?
That seems real to me.
Is it really real?
It's really not. If somebody said, here's a battery pack for your cellular telephone, for your electronic devices, plug it in and it recharges your phone in 10 minutes. And then I said, oh, that sounds amazing. How much is it? And they were like, it's $2.99 Canadian. I'd be like, I'm not buying that shit. It's gonna start a fire. It's gonna burn down my house. But if they were like, it's like $99, I'd be like, a fair price for a fair product. You got a deal.
The thing is, in his example, you can technically use the price as a way to make an argument to show that the product could be bad without any fallacies, without using the appeal to money. If you say the battery is bad because it's $2.99, it's technically an appeal to money. But if you say the battery is $2.99 and there's no explainable way of making a working quality battery with that amount of money, it would not be profitable. So you have to explain how you make it that cheap without having a bad product. You're not using any fallacies. You're just stating facts, you know? So the fallacy is when people will say, hey, I have a battery pack and it's $100. You know it's quality because it's $100. That's the appeal to money, because now they are trying to make you think it's a good product based on the price, when it could be a bad product. It could be a $2 battery priced at $100 and it could explode anytime. So they have to prove that it's a good product. Not based on the price, but based on like what materials they used, who designed it, stuff like that, you know?
I think they gotta patch that one. Me not voting in this election is equivalent to not take, that's false equivalency. Like the word had the equivalent in it. I just got out of the hairdresser. I think they really did a bad job. I think I can ask them for a refund. That seems valid to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'm not the expert, but let's see what affirming the consequent means. We're learning a lot about how to be annoying today, man. We have a cause that is known to imply a consequence. I missed my bus, so I'm late. Okay, I missed my bus, so I'm late. But if you don't pay attention, you can be made to believe that the cause happened just by mentioning the consequence. even though that isn't necessarily the case. Oh, I use this all the time. This is not a fallacy. It works. You just say, sorry, I'm late. And then people know that you have a kid and they assume that your kid is the reason you're late, even though you didn't say that. It's not a fallacy. It works, man. It's valid.
I like how for him it's valid means it works if to win an argument.
If he misses the bus, then he's late. He's late, therefore he missed his bus. This is one of the possibilities, yes, but you cannot just deduce that. But that's why it's valid, because you can't ask why someone is late. That's for some reason, at least in my culture, that's considered like a very personal question. You're just supposed to tank the psychic damage from them being late.
Oh, I do not have this experience. Here, if you say you're late, people will say why, like, and will be annoying, and you have to explain what happened.
And you can just lie. Every week you lose at the lottery brings you closer to a week where you'll win. That's gambler's fallacy, but it's also true if you lived for an infinite time scale.
Yes.
If you lived for infinity, you would eventually win the lottery.
That's technically correct. Should I add at the beginning of the question, context, you are a mortal being.
I climbed to the top of this mountain all by myself. You can do it too. It was great. The guides were really nice with me. That's a generalization. You might be built different. What? Lie? How could I possibly know that that's a lie? I wasn't there. That's a made-up story. The whole thing is a lie. It's all made up. Oh, because he said he was alone, but he said the guides were nice. Oh. I don't have a critical mind. I'm too trusting.
Okay, that's really funny. I wrote this sentence and to see someone like fail at the sentence is really entertaining.
This is the consequence of like never really listening, just waiting your turn to talk. Perfect run? Perfect? No, because I got the lie wrong. I mean, we gotta like master expert mode. You suggest people should opt for trains over planes due to ecological concerns, but maybe it's just because you're afraid to get on a plane. Might have used the appeal to motive a few times in my life.
Like he's maybe understanding that he might have used that a bit too much before.
I don't see how this team could lose. They won all their matches till now. That's hot hand. Dude, I'm not becoming a debate bro. You're saying we should check everyone's backpack when leaving the store. So basically you think everyone's a thief.
He's thinking.
No, this is a straw man. They don't think that everybody is a thief. They think that there's a chance everybody's a thief.
Nice. Okay.
Don't call this cheating, by the way. This is pissing me off. You know the motherfuckers who invented this shit, it wasn't like epic rap battles of history. Shit was like Cato the Elder versus Vercingetorix. They would have a debate over like 30 years of letters back and forth. Like the shit was by correspondence. It's not like they had 10 seconds to reply to each other. They were chiseling their fucking shit in the marble, man. They have plenty of... the game says it's cheating? Appeal to authority, motherfucker! They didn't make the rules of rhetoric, they just made the game!
Chat is saying he is cheating because he's pausing the game during the countdown. I added the achievement cheater to tell you that you're cheating when you pause the game during the countdown. So now the chat is saying the game told you it was cheating, so you are cheating. And he's saying it's an appeal to authority.
That's an appeal to authority, bitch!
Wait.
Oh, they didn't make the rules of rhetoric, they just made the game!
Okay, I made the game. He has to prove that I did not make the rules of rhetoric. They have to prove it. I like it that I made enough sentences. He never had the same sentence shown twice. I didn't know how much sentences I had to add. I wanted someone to be able to play all the easy mode and expert mode. and get the max score without having to rely on learning the answers. So I think it's working.
Criminals usually hide their activity. This person wants to keep their conversation secret. They must be a criminal. That's a generalization of...
I think it's their eye score.
Fuck. 13 and 2 again. We're so close, man.
I'm glad they're having fun. I think they made another video about the extreme mode. I'm not even expecting people to find the extreme mode in the game. That's something you unlock when you get the eye score in the expert mode. And I don't expect people to get that far. It was something that was I was expecting only some people to reach. And he continues to play until he unlocks the extreme mode.
It's getting too hot in here.
Appeal to looks.
Appeal to thermodynamics. Those oranges have no seeds. There's only a 1% chance that you'll encounter one. It won't happen, so you feel free to take a bite without worrying. Appeal to probability. See, this shit is pissing me off. I feel like an appeal to probability. They were reaching when they came up with this fallacy. This is like a good way to live your life, man. Well, I just mean like the odds of your plane crashing are like 1 in 100, so don't be scared. That's just a useful model for how to live your life.
Again, it's subtle. Like the subtlety is important here. When we go back to the sentence says, these oranges have no seeds. There's only a 1% chance that you'll encounter one. It won't happen to you. So feel free to take a bite without worrying. That's technically a fallacy. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't live your life like that. If the sentence was, there's only a 1% chance that you will encounter a seed, so it might not happen to you, so do what you want, you know? And then when you learn that it could happen to you, if you decide that 1% chance is not a big deal and you decide that you want to take the risk, that's okay.
You should debate the game creator as the final boss.
Come at me! Northernlion! Yeah, let's debate. Let's 1v1 right now.
Deep down, people are selfish, so this charity project based on donations and volunteering won't work. That's an appeal to depression. That's an appeal to motive, probably. I've been kind to her the whole year, so she will not turn me down if I ask her. That's valid.
Okay, this one is not easy. This one is a bit tricky.
I'm gonna say that that's denying the antecedent, even though I don't know what that means.
Oh! They got it right. It's not valid. It's not an appeal to money. Can it be a false dilemma? Yeah, no, it could. I don't think it could be a false. Yeah, so you cool by elimination. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So now he's going to learn what denying the antecedent is. That's cool.
In the phrase, when the train has an issue, there is a delay. The train has an issue is the antecedent. A delay is the consequence. A fallacious version can be derived. When the train doesn't have an issue, there is no delay. This is false. There's other reasons there could be a delay. But the resemblance with the valid statement, if there is no delay, then the train didn't have an issue, called the contrapositive, can make us doubt. Cite other possible antecedents. You never know, there may be an issue with the tracks. Huh?
I'm not sure they understand that one. So it's okay. I don't know how to make it more obvious, but when you check the definition, you can actually look at the sentence you got wrong.
I don't know what that means.
So as you can see here, there's a piece of paper on the bottom part of the screen, and you can check what was the sentence. The thing is, when you look at the book, it zooms in on the definition. If you zoom out, if you click on zoom out on the top right corner of the screen, you are able to read the sentence to try to understand why this fallacy was in the sentence. But I see a lot of people not discovering that feature. So maybe I should make it more obvious or add a little prompt somewhere to make it more obvious.
Like, I'm not saying it's useless to know what fallacies are and how to identify them to improve your critical thinking.
Okay.
All I'm gonna say
Yeah.
is I do think there's times where your argument can be so good that even if it is completely based on logical fallacies, you're still right, in my opinion.
What?
Like, if your argument's a little shaky, you could be like, hey man, you denied the antecedent there, just so you know. But if your argument is like rock solid and you go, well, that's an appeal to authority, well, you lost, bro. That you basically doubled down on losing, in my opinion.
What does he call rock solid if there's a fallacy in the argument? That's really strange. That's a strange way of looking at it. If it's rock solid, there's no fallacy in it. So if he thinks something can be rock solid with a fallacy in it, the rock solid doesn't mean valid argument for him. Maybe that means people agree with you. So maybe from his point of view, if everyone agrees with you, it's rock solid? I don't know. For me, if you say something's rock solid, there's no fallacy. No one could say there's a fallacy in your argument. And if someone says so, you can disprove them. When you're right for the wrong reasons. Oh, so yeah, it's not rock solid. If you're right, okay. I see now, okay. If you're right, but for the wrong reasons, and someone try to use fallacies to show that you're wrong. But, okay, that's funny because in that case, the other person could be using a fallacy too. They could be using the fallacy. The fallacy is when you try to use the fact that someone's using a fallacy to say that they are wrong. But if they are correct and they're using a fallacy, the fact that they are using a fallacy don't make what they are saying wrong. So in that case, you could say, okay, maybe I was wrong about using that argument. But then you didn't prove that what I was saying was wrong.
Like if someone burns you and you're like, oh, that's an ad hominem fallacy. Oh, that's an ad hominem fallacy.
The game doesn't advise you using the name of the fallacies to defend yourself. The goal of the game is to be able to understand why the argument people are using are fallacious. The goal of the game is to be able to go a bit further than just knowing that something's wrong with the sentence, and to be able to articulate in your own mind what's going on with what is being said. Because when you know when you can put names on things that are happening, you can then yourself think about what's happening. If you just think, oh, this guy seems shady, you cannot do anything. If you say, oh, this guy is using a denying of the antecedent, then you know how to have a good rebuttal. The rebuttal will not be you are using denying the antecedent fallacy. The rebuttal will be, as I'm saying in the glossary, to find an antecedent that will work and ask why this wouldn't work. The fact that you know why it's fallacious make you able to easily disprove what they are saying. And that's why in the glossary, I try to give a solution to the situation of someone's using that fallacy. Here, for denying the antecedent, I never say you should tell people that they are denying the antecedent. What I say is cite other possible antecedents. And that kind of works. If you cite other antecedents, they cannot deny the antecedent, or they have to disprove them. You should learn fallacies not just to dunk on people, but to make good arguments yourself too. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, if you are using denying the antecedent, maybe learning what denying the antecedent is will make you able to avoid using it, because then people are able to easily dunk on you, you know? Yeah, that's pretty bad if you try to have correct arguments.
A lot of arguing is just vibes, man. It's vibes and then like 30% being the last person to talk.
That's the worst kind of arguments.
You just use the fallacy in your argument, so you're wrong. That's fallacy. Oh, the ultimate Uno reverse card. When tossing a coin, it's equally likely to have 4 heads than a tail than to have 5 heads in a row. That's valid.
Oh, nice.
Quick math.
I see a lot of people stumbling on that one, and he answered pretty fast, so yeah, that's kind of impressive.
15 out of 15. Perfect score in expert mode.
Nice.
You've just unlocked extreme difficulty. This difficulty is merciless. Holy cow.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, there's another video where he tries extreme mode. Extreme modes, people are not like extreme mode is it's a secret. It's never marketed. It's supposed to be something you unlock when you really complete 100% expert mode. Then he made a 26-minute video about the extreme mode, but you were not supposed to find it. Like, it's a bit experimental. In extreme mode, you have like 6 possible answers. There's no valid answers anymore. Some of them they overlap on each other, and you have to select the better one. So it's a bit experimental. But yeah, I'm so glad they tried the game first. Like, they found the game, they got the game, they tried the game, they made a stream and then a video about it, and they went to like they finished the game. They finished the game. They got like the maximum score on expert mode. It's a weird feeling because I spent 1 year of my life working on this project, and to see someone like really playing the game. The game was working. Like, the game was polished, and so we can just focus on having fun with the quiz. So yeah, thank you for playing the game, Northernlion. If you liked the game, you can check it out. But yeah, so I'm going to work on my next game now. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, everyone.
That's an appeal to authority, bitch!